Broke boys and broke girls.
What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Broke Boy Kitchen, the show that shows all you broke boys and broke girls how to make cheap and easy meals. Today, we're gonna be making one of the essentials to meals that exist all over the world, and that is how to make rice. Rice in a lot of cultures is like the foundation of their cooking. You have your rice, then you add your protein source and your vegetables and all these things. And it's crazy to me when people are over the age of, say, like 18 and still can't cook a decent pot of rice. Especially when you get to an age where you are on your own, you're making your own meals, your parents aren't around to cook you something every single day. Knowing how to make rice is an important tool because, for one, it's healthy, it's a good source of carbohydrates, and it's very affordable. Okay, so what we're gonna start off is our rice. And the reason why I say this is affordable is because we are literally gonna make this bowl size. This bowl is about 1 cup, and we're just gonna fill it up all the way to the top. This doesn't look like a ton of rice, but once you cook it, it expands and this becomes a good sized portion. This is enough to feed about 4 people or yourself about 4 times. I mainly use brown rice because it still has the shell on it, it has more fiber in it, but if you can't stand the flavor, you could also use white rice, of course. Or they also have brown rice that is actually milled that kind of has less of that grainy taste if you guys want to give it a shot. So to make this rice, we only need a couple things. We need a rice cooker or a pot and some water. Of course, if you want to get fancy, there's lots and lots of different options of how to make rice. But today, again, we're starting with just the basics. So let's get started. We have our rice cooker. First, we open the rice cooker. We toss the rice in. Now, before I continue, I have to wash my rice because if you don't wash your rice, then you dirty. Especially if it's white rice, it's got some like powder on it so it doesn't stick. Brown rice tends to not have that, but you still want to clean it anyways. Fill your rice up with some water, swirl it around, give it some loving, and then kindly strain out the water. Some people just use their fingers as a filter, but this makes life a lot easier. Wash your rice a couple times because we want to eat clean, not dirty. All right, you guys, I'm now going to show you the ancient secret of measuring the ratio of water to rice using the finger. Now, some people don't trust this method, and those people are often like, oh my goodness, I got stubby fingers, or oh my goodness, I got super long fingers. Well, the thing about this, it is a trial and error method. So no matter how stubby your fingers are, you want to start off by measuring the water to here. Okay, let's pour it in. And at this point, you want to make sure that the rice is basically somewhat even on the bottom. Like if you have a mound and you try to measure it there, it's going to be kind of inaccurate. So we stick our finger in, and if you guys can see, the water only comes to about here. So that means we need some more water. Again, I'm gonna add some more water. Gonna measure it out, even it out, stick my finger in. Still isn't high enough. Let me add some more. Even it out. Almost there. At this point, it's like right below there, so I need a little bit more. So as you can see, the water level is right there, right on that part of my finger. And here's where the learning experience comes in. For me personally, after doing this for many, many years, when I measure brown rice specifically to here, it's still a little bit too dry, right? So I add a little bit more, so just a little bit beyond that point. And this is where the trial and error process comes in. Sometimes when you go to here, it's gonna be just fine. Sometimes it's gonna be too watery. So you have to adjust, go a little bit less, go a little bit more. And again, your first pot of rice isn't gonna be perfect. Your second one, probably not. You're gonna have to keep trying it over and over and over. And again, once you get to a point, you don't have to measure it cup for cup anymore, okay? So I'm gonna add just a little bit more water. And now I have the perfect amount of water to rice. So at this point, you're pretty much ready to start cooking your rice. And the one thing that I will say, the difference between cooking in a rice cooker and like a pot, for this one, sometimes it actually tastes better depending on your rice cooker. If you have a really good rice cooker, it's gonna make your rice super nice every single time. Some of the cheaper rice cookers, you know, it maybe needs a little bit more loving, but using a pot often will give you a really nice result. Okay, so don't, you know, hate on the pots. Like I said, at this point, you're ready to press cook and go. But with my experience with brown rice, the thing that people don't like about it is it has this graininess and sometimes it's super hard. So a little trick that I've learned is you let the brown rice sit in the water for about 30 minutes before you press cook, and then you go from there. So we're gonna let this sit, come back in 30 minutes and get to cooking. And if you're in a hurry, just skip the 30 minutes, put a little bit of extra water and press start. From here, depending on how much rice you have, it might take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. So at that point, you can leave here, make the rest of your meal, whatever you gotta do, and come back to some delicious rice. And just like that, your rice is done. Now, a lot of times right when it finishes, it actually isn't completely done. You wanna let it steam. But before you let it steam, just kinda give it a quick stir. Like just turn over all the rice, make sure it's all getting the same kind of love and treatment, and then shut it and let it sit till you're ready to serve it. And now that it's all done, it is pretty much ready to eat. One thing that tends to happen is when you make rice and you only have a couple people, you have leftover rice. You stick it in the refrigerator, you pack it, and if you don't eat it within the week, it's pretty much goes bad. So one little technique that my wife actually developed was a way to pack this rice. Now, you could go to the store and you could buy pre-packaged rice that you just stick in the microwave and you have it ready to eat. But those actually cost a lot more than rice actually costs just because of the convenience. So what I'm gonna show you guys is a way to pack your rice. And we're just gonna simply use some saran wrap. Gonna pull it out, cut it, and what we're gonna do is just stick a pile of rice right in the middle. And you basically just want to make a portion that's good enough for a meal, right? So depending on the person, you can make it bigger or smaller, right? So this looks like it's probably good. What I'm gonna do is simply just try to wrap this without making any creases. If you make a crease, basically you're gonna have plastic stuck in your rice. If you have plastic containers, you could also put it in that, but those just tend to take up a whole lot of space. So again, just make sure you pack it so there's no like creases in the rice. Roll it up. Let's make one more. Stick the rice on. And again, just make it a reasonable portion for what you yourself would actually eat. Try to make sure that you aren't making any creases while you're doing this. Roll the other side. And finally the back. And boom, you have packed rice. We're gonna stick this in the freezer and let it sit till it's ready to eat. And boom, you have rice packs ready at your service to use. With this, you have a very, very useful tool. You have something that you could literally use to pack, especially in those emergency situations. For example, you have nothing to eat tomorrow, and you're gonna be working all day. You could take a Tupperware, throw one of these in there, throw some vegetables, throw a protein source in there, and boom, you got yourself a meal. There's a lot of services out there for meal preps, and if you go to Costco or some of these bigger stores, they actually have stuff like this for sale, and it actually costs a good amount of money. Like I want to say it's over $1 each. versus, you know, we spent maybe a couple cents for each of these. So again, I wanted to get you guys all on a healthy start, getting you guys in the kitchen, prepping your own food, making your own food, and overall just enjoying the whole experience. All right, hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you guys press like, leave me a comment about what you guys want to see next. I tend to experiment and cook a lot of stuff, posting it on my Instagram so you guys can check it out there, but hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.